Kia ora koutou, welcome back to the channel. Day 9 of my 2-week trading challenge, and I'm showing up even though I wasn't feeling 100% today. I'm tired and a bit off, but I still managed to stay focused and come out green. Let's get into it. So, this morning when I got up, SLRX was the leading gainer. It had made a move up to $2. And then it pulled back basically, and was still pulling back when I turned on my recording. So I'll just skip through some of this. The other stocks that I looked at this morning was INEO. That wasn't doing anything, wasn't moving. There were quite a few stocks that were over 10% up on the day in pre-market. Another one was IMRX. IMRX, this had pushed up here up to 338, and I looked at possibly taking a trade on this, but when I looked at the float was like 25 million, and I was just like, that's quite high. It's a bit higher than I really want to take. Usually I want to take trades on stocks that are around 5 million to 10 million at the most. They generally tend to move a bit better. So I decided not to take a trade on IMRX. So both the leading gainers, SLRX and VERV, were pulling back. So the next one on the list was SAFX. And I came and had a look at SAFX, and it had pushed up to 628 and had pulled back down to VWAP, and then broken down even further and was down to a low of 337. It had pushed back up, some volume had come back in, and it started pushing back up, and it looked like it was starting to trend back towards VWAP. So I waited to see what this candle did here, and it kept pulling back, pulled back to the 9 EMA, had a little bounce off that, but didn't really go any further, and was just kept pulling back. So I went and had a quick look at SLRX. That wasn't doing anything either. Came back to SAFX, and even though it had broken down through the 20 EMA and back down to this low down here at around 360, I just kept watching this stock. It had a low float, only 700,000 roughly. A float, the price was good, well, better for me. I could afford a few more shares. I did think about taking it off the low here, but it hasn't proven itself yet. Volume hasn't come back in, and it's had a couple of candles here where there's been increased volume on the green side, on the long side, which is good, but it's still well below VWAP. So and then this candle happened here. I think it's this one. It had a nice push up towards $4, where it had rejected previously. So it put in a nice push up. Not massively more volume on that candle, a bit more than the previous ones, but still not as much as this candle here. And this was looking pretty positive. So it's pushed up to 405 again. Possibly could have been an entry there, but definitely could have been in here around $4. But that's okay. I'm just going to speed this up again, do 2 times the speed. So it pushed up here to 434, and I was waiting to see if it broke or whether it pulled back. It did pull back, and I thought about getting in around $4 again, but it actually pushed up on that candle again, and I think it puts in one more green candle. You can see on the ask there's a bit of selling pressure on the level 2 up here. But it's put in some nice green candles here, nice volume. So I decided to get in on the pullback around 415. So around the bottom of this previous candle. It did pull back to, I think it's 408, 409. So I could have got a slightly better fill, but I was happy with that fill. It did take a bit to get going though. It pulled back a little bit here, back down to 408. Again, and that was a decent sized red candle on the volume. But I held, it still hadn't hit my stop loss, and then it pushed up to 420, struggled a bit, but I was waiting for it to push and break through VWAP. So it comes into a new candle here, breaks that previous green candle, that first green candle that it's made after the pullback, and then I thought, good, as long as it breaks up through here, then I should be able to take my profit. Pushed up through VWAP. It looked pretty strong, so I held it for a bit longer. And then I saw some bigger sellers come in here, and I sold. And I got filled at 454. So the ask did go up to around 472. It did go to a high of 472. So in the end, it was a decent trade. I got the meat of the trade, so got 39 cents out of that trade. Could have got a little bit more on either end, but was really happy with how I traded that and my entry. I could have waited for confirmation, maybe on that green candle, or maybe the break of that candle, first green candle there. But I was happy with my entry and my exit. Would have been nice to have got filled a little bit higher, as it always is. But 454, not that bad. And it's got the meat of this move through here. So that was good. It was a good trade today, and that was $14.82 in profit on SAFX. So that's kind of what I want to keep replicating. I only had 38 shares on that trade, but if I can keep replicating that trade and increasing the share size over time, then that's kind of what I want to do. Well, that's what I want to do. Other stocks that moved this morning were CERO. Let's take the video off. CERO was quite a decent move. In pre-market, I saw it move from around $8 up to $16.58. I only saw this last leg here, that last leg. And did I think about buying in here? No, because it was already moving up here. I'd missed the pullback. And when I switched across to it, it was around $14.50, pushing up to $16.58 pretty quickly. Pulled back, big pullback here. There's a couple of decent dip trades probably at the 9 EMA if you got in early. You could have got a decent dip trade in there. And same with the 20. If you managed to get in the low, then there was a good push back up to VWAP as well. But in pre-market, that was pretty much it. It went sideways pretty much through pre-market, and then in the open, it really pushed higher, coming up here, breaking through VWAP into a halt. May have even halted here actually. No, it didn't halt there. Halted here, 9.46. Yeah, had a halt here, and then slowly grinded back up and pushed to a high of 26.95. So a decent move with CERO this morning. Didn't want to take any of this. Obviously I was only trading during pre-market, so I don't want to take anything on the backside of that, so no trades on that. ACXP was another stock I watched. This is a penny stock. This I saw a push from, I actually only saw it from here, from about 65 cents as it broke through this part here. It just switched across and pushed up to a high of 8.86 cents. And then I was waiting for the pullback, and it pulled back, then pushed up to 86 cents, then pulled back again, and then put in a decent pullback down to the 9 EMA. And I did think about taking an entry at 75 cents as it pulled back down and then came back up through the 9 EMA. I thought about taking an entry around 75 cents here. Probably should have done that. I could have got in with around 200 shares, and it pushed up to, you know, that first mover high of 93 cents up to around 98. So would have been a decent trade there. 75 cents, looking at nearly 20 cents a share, so that would have been around $40 profit on that with those smaller, lower price stock. But I didn't take anything on this stock here, as I didn't take any trades, as I was already green on the day and I didn't really want to go red. If I take another trade when I'm up already and I go red on the day, I'll be annoyed, especially with only having a maximum of 2 trades. Generally, if I'm red on the day, I'll take another trade to get back to being break even or green. But if I'm already green on the day and I've had a green trade first off, then generally my frame of mind is to just keep the profit and not risk going into the red. So yeah, ACXP did eventually, looks like it eventually broke $1. So I actually shut down at 8 o'clock. So I actually closed everything down at 8 o'clock. I have been looking after a sick child most of this week, and I'm not feeling too great now myself. So decided to call it a day and go back to bed around 8 o'clock market time, which is around midnight in New Zealand. So yeah, but good to see that it did actually break up over $1. I was expecting it to break $1 here when it got up to around 98 cents, but it pulled back, had some heavy resistance up here, and just couldn't seem to break it. So yeah, good to see that it eventually did. Looks like it pulled back over the rest of the day though. Yeah. So coming into my stats, SAFX today, 38 shares at 415, exit at 454, profit of $14.82. So on the month now, that is, well, it's 7 days in a row green gross profit, and after fees, I've got 7 days green, but that one green day that's gross profit in the green, after fees, it's actually 9 cents in the red. So yeah, but overall looking good. Green week last week, 29.41. Green week this week at the moment at 24.29. So if I can carry on with the green trades first off, then this should be getting back in there. Also looking at P&L for the month, I'm only down $11.95. After the fees today, that would be about $13.40. $14 P&L. So nearly back to over the, nearly out of this drawdown. I'm trying to think of the word. Nearly out of this drawdown for the month, and hopefully I can pull this around and this will be a green month. If I can carry on doing what I'm doing and really minimizing my red days and, you know, just keep building and building on these green days that I'm having at the moment. My accuracy is still a little bit low, 52%, but obviously that's only going to gradually build with taking one trade a day, but getting close to being a profitable win rate, and my risk reward is 0.8, so would like that to come up as well to be a bit higher, but you know, it's going in the right direction at least. So only one trade today, but I'm proud of the discipline, especially because I wasn't feeling my best. I stayed focused, stuck to my strategy, and walked away with a win. That's 7 green days in a row for this challenge. Let's keep it rolling. I will see you tomorrow. Hei au pupu.